Welcome, everybody, to the KQ Show, episode 23, Instructional Guide for Your Listening Pleasure. For those new to the show, hi, I'm Kyle. I'm just like everyone else. I collect handfuls of water in the shower and then drop it like a dam opening up. As a young lad, I had what my parents would call the gift of gab. I love conversations, interesting people, and most of all, having fun. I'll be chatting with business owners, musicians, mechanical pencil lead, and VCR rewinder enthusiasts. Episode 23 brings us Talking with DC. I sit down with a friend, colleague, and fellow trading card collector, Joe Decraene. We talk our leadership careers, sports, card collections, high-end bourbon, and how much chew he can fit in his mouth while still communicating. Enjoy the show. But Grandma. Welcome, everybody, to the KQ Show, episode 23, the Jordan LeBron edition. My guest today is a friend I've known now for 20 years.
Yeah.
He was a boss of mine. We took the same management path, pretty much. He is currently a rural market manager for T-Mobile and an avid card collector. He is a Vikings fan, so, we'll have to put on some pads and fight it out. Mr. Joe Decraene.
Hello, Kyle.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks
Excited.
for coming, man. Hell yeah.
I know it will be fun today. That is for sure.
Oh, yeah. So, first thing I do is got to talk about what we're drinking here. So, every time I drink whatever the guest brings. So, give me the little story here of your old Rip Van Winkle, and what are we firing on?
Yeah, so I guess I got to take you back about 3 years ago during COVID. I wanted to get back in shape, and the booze was flowing mightily. So I figured, hey, if I switch to bourbon, I can kind of try to attack both. And so got into collecting bourbon. I collect. I probably just an addictive personality as a whole. And so I started collecting bourbon, started building it up, and finally I wedged my way up and say, all right, I want to spend a little bit more and taste of High Life. And so I got a couple different bottles, and that was kind of my promotion bottle. So it's the Rip Van Winkle. It's their 10-year. I think on the shelves, they technically sell it for $500, but it's so hard to get. You're going to pay more than that probably. But so it's a 10-year. It's as you got your first sip, it's incredibly flavorful.
So fucking good.
So smooth.
It's dangerously good.
I think most people, when they go to have it, they light up that way, and they're like, oh, I see why because you could pop a bottle and drink the whole thing.
Easy.
And it'll turn you sideways, but it just tastes so good. I mean, It really does. For a bourbon, it's impressive. So yeah, we got that. And as I got a little bit more healthy and continue to make bad decisions on booze, I finally decided to walk away from booze for over a year and about 4 months, and I'm slowly introducing it back. And I even told you I won't have one, and I'm like, you know what? I can have a drink or two and behave now. So if there's a time to bust this out and have some fun with a friend, let's bust this bottle out and enjoy it. So that is what we're sipping on today.
Well, hell yeah. So I like it. So so I kind of mentioned that we kind of took the same career, but I thought it was funny when I remember I was at it was Best Buy. And I think you were in, was it Fort Wayne or was it?
Yeah.
And I remember walking in, I was like, I just got promoted, and you had just got promoted. I was like, oh shit, man, what's up?
Like, we worked at Circuit, then you went to Best Buy, now I'm at Best Buy.
And then I go to
and it was deja vu then, not to realize it was going to happen in another 18 months again.
And I walk in, I go to the Coliseum store, Fort Wayne, and I walk in and go, the fuck, man, what are you're not at Best Buy anymore? Like, nah, man, I'm like, well, shit, I just got promoted store manager too. Cool.
Yeah.
So,
We're running stores now for Sprint. Guess what?
So so tell me a little bit. So what's your gig now? As a rural market manager. So what all does that entail, and what are some of the perks and I guess the difficulties of it?
Yeah. So got to take it back a couple years, kind of same time frame with the merger, right? So Sprint T-Mobile merge. Been a wild ride since. Now, so the current role, rural market manager, I'm basically, in old terms, a mini director, right? So I take my market, whatever I'm in control of, but you're in control of it all. You have the third-party stores, the corporate-owned stores. You support the metro stores.
Wow.
You're working with the network team on what's coming, what's developing. Okay, so I'm building a network here. All right, so I have a new store coming there. I've already opened up, a couple metro stores. I've opened up a couple corporate-owned T-Mobile stores. I have 4 more corporate stores coming by the end of the year.
Nice.
So, our job is really get out, learn the community, become a part of it, and influence it in positive ways to shed, positive light on our brand, obviously. And in the meantime, hopefully while we're helping people, we can be successful in our stores. And yeah, I mean, but you get to pair up, like, how do we spend marketing dollars, right? Like before my job was motivate people to run stores, right? Or, and run stores myself. But yeah, now you're getting into more of the back end decision making, where to put a store, why, how to spend marketing, how to go in and, how to really go in and influence that market. I mean, that's what it is at the end of the day. How do you make that area better? And with way less support, we run lean. And I think that's the difference. Before, I had that extra ops manager under me to help me, and I had this extra help everywhere, and I could really solely focus on a few things, where now you have to be the jack of all trades and still build a great culture to entice people to work for you. Because as everybody knows, it's tough to keep good talent. Good so it's good thing our company, they have decent benefits, or I should say great benefits, and for the job, I would say it's a very solid pay. Everyone's guaranteed to make at least $20 an hour, not to make a plug or anything, but yeah, I think they do it. They give us an environment to win in, at least. And, as you experienced, that merger was a whirlwind. We might've been outside of West Virginia and Nebraska, the epicenter for it. And, where we were the epicenter is Nebraska. Well, there's really only one competitor, and same thing in West Virginia, it was only Sprint. So in our world, not many spots was Sprint dominant, and more so dominant network. We had 9 towers to 1 almost. And so we, you more than anyone had to deal with that, the brunt of that. Maybe you and a couple people in the outskirts, but so it was a crazy ride up and down, but we're finally getting to a spot where now we have the fastest speeds in the area. We're almost, better on the coverage and reliability side. And, we spent, the numbers are astronomical, honestly, like over 40 million just in, Fort Wayne's area, South Bend, once I did, we're at 70 million in network investments in a couple of years. And, as we finish up this year, we'll be the best, which is cool, and, with me and you, we look back at our journey over those years like it was fun to be at Best Buy, but Circuit, you were fighting, you were scrapping. Same thing at Sprint, like we were scrapping. And now you're the big boy. You're the company's the most valuable telecommunication company in the world. It's worth 180 billion. Like it just, we were never there. And now that you're there, you do walk differently, but I think they try to, give us an environment to not think that way. They want us to keep being different, think differently. And, but it's been interesting and but fun at the same time. I've learned a ton. But the people side, it all comes down to the people and hiring the right people and surrounding yourself with good people, as you know.
What's the hardest part about it?
The hardest part, I just think in a generality, is working for a corporation where you have very little control. They do a great job taking our feedback, probably better than most. But you got to run their play, and you got to put a smile on when times you don't want to. And I think, finding the motivation every day to go work for someone else, as I've matured and got older, and I think priorities change in life, that's probably the hardest thing overall. Now, it's directly about my specific job. When your product is not superior and it's second rate for a while, again, we're getting there. It presents challenges to grow in an environment where you don't have the product right yet. And that was 100% and dealing with the people, like you're paying a monthly bill and things change or get worse or doesn't work. Or, as you know, like that's the hardest part, is talking to those people about, hey, what's going on? And, it was frustrating for a long time, but I've stuck it out this far, and we're exiting the tunnel, like the light. We've seen the light for a while. It's been getting better, and we're winning in ways now that we haven't in a long time, and it feels good for sure.
Yeah, I noticed. I mean, the network, they finally, I finally had to switch. Unfortunately, they didn't keep my employee discount around.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just so cheap.
Bastards.
Yeah, I don't know why. They hung on for a while, but, because the network was pretty rough. So I was like, oh, I'm going to have to pour it out anyway. But then the network started to get a little better, and then, I mean, I just, I now see like a lot of people that have T-Mobile are actually getting service again, which is, because it was just any big merger like that. It was just tough to explain to the network team. But like, no, I don't think you understand. Like, there's nothing. Nothing exists. There's 3 cities that have nothing.
Yeah, you have to send a guy from corporate, and as he pulls up to our lot, oh, you're right. It doesn't work. And then all of a sudden, the bigwigs are in the next day. We're sorry, guys. And, then they fix everything. Oh.
Yeah, it's like
so you had to send someone after us complaining for 7 months. But again, it gets lost because I think in those situations, it's happening in a lot of places. Mm-hmm. But it might be a couple towers, right?
Yeah.
Where in our world, when we go from a customer base that was being supported by almost 50 towers in the direct Mishawaka, South Bend area, down to 11, and you add customers to that 11, let's say T-Mobile had a couple thousand customers in the area, probably more than that, maybe 5 to 7, but we would have had 40,000 to 70,000. Well, you take those 40 to 70,000 customers and put them on 11 towers that were supporting 5,000. Mm-hmm. That's what we went through. Yeah. And it, So
it was a lot, but well, I'm glad, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to see you still kicking it out. I know you. I think what I remember you left for T-Mobile for a minute and then came back to Sprint, I think.
Yeah.
And then like pre and post merger.
Yeah, similar to your end. I had kind of done everything you could possibly accomplish in the RSM world, so store manager world. We were number 1 in the nation, for like 22 a 24-month run, won the awards, did it all. And then you're told, well, you can't apply for a DM spot. And at the time is when a new channel was opening. And so I said, all right, well, hey, this other company wants me and they're offering me more money. Why would I say no at this point? So yeah, I left, and it's funny how you leave and then 30 days later your phone rings and says, hey, we want you back for that position. Like, wait, the position I wasn't allowed to apply for?
Wait, you mean you could have saved me all this time?
Hold on. Oh, so the person that was, advising me before misled me, and if you would have known what was happening, you would have told me to apply for it. And okay, you're winning me over now. And so obviously it was a great opportunity for my family and life-changing, just work-life balance, and obviously the money's great.
Yeah.
But it's really that work-life balance from the grind of running a store and being there every day and having that responsibility of, it got broken into, well, I got to go, or something weird happened, I got to go, someone called off, I got to change my schedule, to being that burden lifting. Now you have more responsibility in other ways, but that daily grind of owning the 4 walls of a business, it's a huge relief to take away. And so I had to take that opportunity and bounce back. So I was at T-Mobile for 77 days, came back to Sprint until merger. And obviously I've been with T-Mobile now since, the last 3 years. It's been 3 crazy years since that merger, man.
3 years. That's crazy. Yeah, because it did happen like right during the pandemic, literally right in the, all right, we're closing the whole world down, but also we're merging these 2 companies.
Yeah, I mean, middle of February stuff went down, and we knew in March it was coming. In February or April 1st, it was official. So yeah.
So when I want to kind of talk about leadership, because I think you're one of the most positive leaders. I mean, when you were my boss, when you were other people's bosses, everywhere, you could tell that that Joe was the manager, and even Bree goes, man, because I kind of gave her the heads up that you were going to be on here. So, that makes sense because he's going to be in town for the whatever, I was like, so she was like, man, he walks in with this money suit.
Oh yeah.
So
we got to have fun. Look, do you want to go to a meeting and watch 20 presentations that are all the same? All right, so we got to have some fun. Yeah. You'll be excited. T-Mobile wouldn't let me do. And I think some of it was COVID early on, my fun meetings, right? So officially, new leadership said, Joe, go. So the first annual DC kickball tournament is in 3.5 weeks. So we got kickball coming up for our quarterly meetings. So I'm bringing those back, and those are just, it makes work different.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, just like little things. I mean, from having what we did, the wiffle ball, we had the pie in the face, just things like that. Like that separates, because when you think about something like that, everybody that has a rough day at any job you're at, okay, everybody's like, man, I got to find another job. What's keeping me here? And I think those type of things are what separates good leadership from just a manager, and I think that's, it's definitely, it was always motivated. I was always excited to go to meetings. Like I hated, we both have had, bosses in the past. It was just boring. It was like, where we're not gaining anything out of this. Like this, we're not getting, we're just watching people's same presentations, cookie cutter. Like it's like, that it's not bringing out the excitement and the drive out of people. So, where did you, learn that? Or, did you have a mentor before, or is this just something you just kind of started figuring out on your own?
Yeah, so it's funny you asked that. So as we were talking through that, I kind of answered that in my own head. And what really drove me to that was a horrible boss. I did not get along with our first boss, as you know. And it's because, they want to give you cookie cutter answers and put no emotion, no effort. This is policy, or this is the way it should be. And, in some worlds that probably works. In some careers, I get it. You got to be operationally oriented. And in our world, it's retail. You got to be operational on the back end. But, we're dealing with people and customers, and at the end of the day, cell phones have become extremely important. To many people, and I would say the common person. And I knew that his dryness, his approach, it gave me zero motivation. When he would leave a building, it would suck the air out of it. He made my job harder. And I vowed to never be that guy, ever. No matter what the situation was, I didn't want to if I was going to be a leader, I wasn't going to do that to one of my people. And I think the second thing that put me in that was probably sports. From a young age, even like in the AAU days in basketball, like preschool ball. And then once we got into school ball, like I was a starting point guard. I was a starting quarterback. Like I had to go, be a representative for what I was playing, because either the ball was in my hands, or at least the spotlight was on me, whether you liked it or not. And, bad decisions are exemplified in those positions. And so when I made those bad decisions, my attitude and how I reflected on myself and my teammates, it dictated how effective I could be, and it taught me a lot of lessons. And I failed a ton. I failed all the way through college quarterback. Like, man, I remember one time, I'll never forget this situation. We had started out the year pretty good, and we came up against a really good defense, and we were battling back and forth, and they were playing tight man coverage, and it was tough to find open windows. And I was jogging off the field. I think the game was 10-7. We were up by 3 at the time. Sad story is I get hurt later on. I really, really bad injury, and we go on to lose like 31-10 then. But I remember jogging off that field after missing a third down, and either I took a sack or threw it away. And I remember some of the hearing it from the fans, like, throw the ball. So maybe I took a sack, and I flipped them off, like my own fans. Like, you got to fail a lot in life to learn, man. That's for sure. And I think, I had to make those mistakes to learn. Those split reactions matter. And once you put yourself in situations where you can fail and they're uncomfortable and you learn from them, when you're in those situations again, they don't mean as much. They start, I don't want to say they're normal, but they become familiar. And when they're familiar, you can react in a more calm state, I guess. Mm-hmm. And so I think throughout the career with, early jobs, but more so the circuit world, the Best Buy world, and the cell phone world, I learned what worked with leadership. I was very observant and know in the room about my leaders and what would motivate me and how I would respond, but more so how others responded as well. I think everyone that's come across me tells me my best setting is in front of people or in meetings, and it's just because it's something, it's how I was made that I can read it and I can make sure everyone's involved and feel it, and but because it's fun to me. And I think it shows what we were talking about a little bit earlier. If you can find something that you like to do, it's scary how good and how fulfilling it is, you know? And that I could literally go, like, I really should be training or coaching. That's really what I should be doing. And hopefully, if things continue to go right and I keep making good decisions on the side, I can put myself in a position where, I can go chase a low-paying job and don't have to worry about a financial side, where I can just worry about my happiness. And that's where that's really the end goal. But we'll see how long it takes to get there.
Now, you mentioned a while ago that you like in your neighborhood or whatever, you live with like near or by or whatever, like indie coaches?
So I've moved now, remember? So the new role, I moved back to Fort Wayne.
Okay.
But I was spoiled. If you ever get a chance to live in Westfield or Carmel, Indiana, man, it's a slice of heaven. It is so clean. Now, I think there's a certain type of person there that you got to be able to stand. You know, you got to be. It's people have money. They put pride in possessions, right? I mean, it's not all of them. You know, there's every walk of life down there, but there's a lot of that. And if you can get along with those people, it is an elite place to live. So yeah, I was in a country club area with Nick Sirianni was kind of catty corner from me, not to name drop, but
That's
like
awesome.
Dude's a head coach, right?
Yeah.
I mean, probably the coolest clip ever for
Yeah.
a national anthem at a Super Bowl ever. Like, who was it? LaShawn McCoy or No Sean Moreno?
No,
or,
shot that
dude,
burst of tear out of
that's
his...
probably winning. So
Yeah.
Nick's number 2.
Yeah.
But and then we had some other coaches. So your head coach Matt Eberflus lived in the same neighborhood. I believe his family still lives there. Kevin Petula, passing game coordinator for the Eagles, old Colts guy. Phillip Rivers lived in the area when he was playing for them. So yeah, I mean, I got, and I have look, first of all, every single person I just said, great human, always personable, great Phillip Rivers stories, shows up to the pool with like 6 of his 9 kids. The 3 young kids were left at home. Or maybe it was 8 kids, so maybe he had 5 of the whatever. You lose count at that point.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding when I say he was there for, I would guess, 2.5 or 3 hours, and he never left throwing footballs to kids jumping off the diving board. Not for 1 minute. He brings his 5 kids to the pool to enjoy some time, and he made sure every other kid in the neighborhood got to catch a ball from him it was a rotation of probably 35 kids, boys and girls, and they all knew, hey, that's the Colts starting quarterback. They knew. Everybody knew. But he was a normal guy, and most of those guys, really all of them were, they're great people, and I didn't get to know them too long or too in depth, but man, every time they were around and I got to see their influence on people is always positive.
Because I know you were talking for a while, you were almost gonna there was a potential chance to be some type of assistant coach or something you were looking at for a minute.
I would love an assistant coach because then I would do it.
Position
but yeah. So if you can become an assistant or a position coach, you've made it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you got to grind. So like they'll take in like an offensive assistant. When I say that, like you're cutting film, you're like the running guy, right? And you some teams depend on the team and what they pay significantly less than what I make, and probably less than what an average store manager makes. Not a ton, but so you got to make a dramatic change in your lifestyle to say, hey, I got to go dedicate all this time because the time is crazy. So hey, could I have gotten an in to say, hey, I'll go take that jump? Sure, but a lot of people that have experience in any type of leadership in sports they're probably asking people to sign up for that job because it's so hard. But a lot of people will take it if it fits for your life because then the doors it opens. I mean, look, I'm losing the blank, but the
Dolphins
head coach.
Yeah, Mike. Right. Yeah, but how
McCarthy,
he was
whatever,
anyway. Ball boy for Tampa.
Yeah, a ball boy.
Yeah.
A ball boy. Like there's other stories out there. McVay, he was literally a film guy. Like he just doing film. Probably literally a tech guy cutting up film because he wanted a foot in the door. And then if you have the right skill set, hey, it can work out. So people will take those jumps. But I wasn't a young kid. I wasn't. I have a 10, 7-year-old.
Yeah.
Like I gotta put priorities first. And like I said, I hope it works out. I don't even know if that's not my true goal. Not even college or pros. And honestly, I have no desire to do college. If you know college coaches, we have some close friends in it. And you want to talk about working crazy hours for 11 months out of the year. Like those guys get no time off.
Yeah.
So there's no, like, I've learned in life.
On the spot in college too.
There's
not. I mean,
and that's the farthest thing from my goal. I want more work-life balance, which is why I think, like, man, if the next couple of years an opportunity would come up, like, it'd be tough to turn down an NFL job, right? But
yeah.
I just don't see that as my goal. I would rather have a goal where I can just coach high school, do it on my own schedule, give a couple solid months, and then try to go influence some kids in the spring to keep working hard and be smart in school. Like, that would give me more self-satisfaction, and I would be a happier person doing that. Where an NFL coach would be a great opportunity, but it'd be a job.
Yeah.
And I just don't know at this point in my career, is that legit? I mean, could I really take a risk and say, hey, I'm going to go make significantly less money to take this risk. Maybe if the right things happen, who knows? But
you'd be okay doing like a high school, like if your kids start to get
100%.
some if your kids start to get into sports, kind of start.
Oh yeah, and they're like, yeah. I mean, I would. The funny part is I'd be a math teacher because numbers make sense to me, and I just love numbers and it's easy. So I'd be a math teacher coaching football. Yeah,
I could see it. Little math gym. You'd be a math gym teacher and the coach. I could see that. Yeah,
I could help.
I think that's how every single one of my the coaches were at every school I went to. They were always like, it was math was always basketball coach, and then health and gym was always football coach. Like I was just like, all right, well,
yeah. We had the same thing in our high school. Now you mention it.
Yeah. Where'd you?
I'm Caveman. I'm Mishawaka.
That's right. That's what I thought. Yeah. Because you didn't move down to Fort Wayne until after Best Buy, or
after college.
Yeah,
so after college, came back, worked Circuit City for less than a year. Then when made the move to Fort Wayne, went Best Buy. I mean, my parents, like I grew up, like I lived in one house. I had a great childhood. Can't thank my parents enough for that. But yeah, I mean, we're 9 blocks, 8 blocks away from my parents' house that I'm running to afterwards. So yeah.
So when it kind of to piggyback on the NFL thing, are you still doing the security for Super Bowl?
I mean, when we want to. So we know we have New Orleans and Vegas coming up, or Vegas, New Orleans coming up. I think there's friends.
This way a little bit too.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah.
Right, so
Okay. Friends. Yeah. There you go. Friends like to go, right? And when it's in Vegas or New Orleans, you probably have some more volunteers.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, I haven't done one for 3 years now, man. Once you do them a bunch, I started. My first one was in 2008. So quick story for the listeners. My brother, he had a frat brother that they were very close with and like lived even in their 5th year together off campus out of the frat house. And he is now, I believe, the president of a company that provides safety and security and hiring and staffing to facilities. So large arenas, stadiums, things like that. And so they manage several stadiums throughout North America. And in 07 or 08, whatever that year was, it was, I'll tell you what, it was the Who at halftime, and it was the famous Saints-Colts Super Bowl. That was the first year they got the contract, because that was the first one I worked. And, he basically hit them and said, hey, we need good people. Like, I'm going to go into these cities and have to hire anybody. So I would love, to have good people show up. So, for him, it's easy for them to kind of hire us and process us. And we know, hey, they're going to show up every day. They're going to take it serious. So it's a kind of a mutual win, and they pay me. And you're the day you work, like we try to explain to people, they don't understand. We're getting up at 3 and 4 a.m., getting to the stadium, and you're not getting off until 1, 2 a.m. Like oftentimes it's a 20, 22-hour day. I got to take Scott to one, which was probably my coolest experience. Since he's passed, I look at that and I'm just so thankful my brother had that hookup and me and Scott got that experience together and got to be around all the famous people. I think they knew Scott. I know they knew Scott was sick, so they kind of just like, look, like the way the Viking stadium set up in this stadium is like this whole 35, in between the 35 and 35 on the home side, it's like a massive suite. And they had executives from Disney and Visa. I'm trying to think some of the other big companies that were there, ESPN, all in these sections. But like then all the famous people, like it was Eagles, Patriots. You have that at Sunny in Philadelphia, so you got Dan DeVito and all those cats sitting in our area. Pharrell. It was crazy. I mean, it really was. But those are memories I can. You can't put a price tag on it. That's what I'll tell you. And everyone that goes to Super Bowl is a special feeling that you can't describe. And I'll tell everybody, if you ever get a chance, come work for me. The rules are you can never have your phone out and you can't ask for stuff. But I won't admit to this. But what you have to do is when the confetti starts to fall, you got to turn your back to the field and get a selfie because it's the best photo you might ever take in your life that you're at the Super Bowl with that party going on behind you. Everyone takes that picture. It's epic. It's cool to be around, and I'm blessed to have the opportunity. But man, Yeah, so if I know you haven't been to one, so
so
we need to sign
Well,
up.
listen, I'm
you
all
going to Vegas or you want to wait for New Orleans? What
Man,
are you doing?
come on. Anyway, yeah, I'm either way. I'm
Good
all
deal.
about it.
Good deal.
Give me Vegas. It's an indoor stadium, so we'll be allowed. Then that's fine. Oh yeah. So what's one of the craziest stories that you have from it? I mean, have you ever had to actually get physical, or I mean?
I had a man kiss my cheek because he was so drunk. And I didn't throw him out, and I think because his team won at the end, he wanted to thank me. It's amazing what booze does to people. And it's amazing what money and booze does to people. I would tell you the craziest story I probably have would be the Eagles fans. And look, you can take this in a negative way or a positive way, and it depends probably your outlook in sports. To me, it was amazing. To some people, maybe it's scary. But the Eagles fans and what they represented at that Super Bowl was a passion we don't often see. I would equate it to Europe soccer, or maybe soccer on the world stage, or it was... They're not there to cheer. Like, it affects them. Like, they're invested. And I appreciated that. I appreciated how many normal people I saw represent the Eagles, where you don't see that. Usually it is the rich executives, the sponsorships. And you could see those Eagle fans that, like, families. And you got to think, even if you're sitting in the upper deck, right? You're still talking $3,000 or $4,000 tickets. You know, in those lower areas, they're paying 20 plus. But so you're saying you can see this family of four, and they're deciding to spend $12,000 plus with travel fees. Prices go crazy. So you're spending $20,000 on to go to a game that they might lose.
Yeah,
but it's because they were different. Their passion is annoying. Where New Orleans fans are ruthless. They were, but. They were in Miami. They were partying all day, and I think they were there out of their minds. Where
that was
the
right
Eagles,
after like Katrina too. That was really big for their
the whole area,
for the whole town. Yeah, when the Superdome was just covered, like we just
maybe 05, if I'm guessing 05 was Katrina, and this is maybe 07. So it was a huge comeback.
It was like the next year, wasn't it? Right after.
Yeah. So I think it was the 06 season into 07. So, you have a full year after it, but still, one full season, and now you're going there. It's huge, right? Like, I remember when their first game back at the Superdome. Remember that? The guy blocked the punt. And that was a crazy game for them. But they were a worse team that literally the atmosphere of that building won them that game. Yeah. It was just so epic to see.
Yeah, and it was good to see that. It was a good win for the whole team. For Drew Brees, beating Manning, who was, I think at that point he was, I think when he broke the passing record. Was it that year? And then they broke it again in Denver, I thought.
No, not in 07. No, he wouldn't have broke it till like 09 or 010, and then he got hurt and then went back.
Okay, is that what it was? Okay, because I remember there was a huge season for both of them. I remember both.
Peyton you're saying single season? No, it might have been. It could have been.
Because I think both of them were. Yeah, and I think that was the year they were both like crazy.
Yeah, because think about it. He had both Harrison and Reggie Wayne. Still Dallas Clark, to me, one of the most underrated tight ends ever because of the grinder he was in between the trenches. And his ability to go over the middle and still come down with the ball. And
without wearing upper gloves.
Yeah.
The dude would, I don't know if he always did it, but I remember watching so many games, he would just not be wearing gloves.
Yeah, he's just raw. He was
bananas.
different. Yeah, so, but yeah, that you're probably right. He might have had some single season through because those teams were elite.
Yeah.
Those offenses were special. It changed the game. He changed, he was the first time we saw a true offensive coordinator running an offense as a quarterback.
Yeah, and then Drew Brees just, the most accurate. Like, you ever seen the Sports Science with Drew Brees?
Yes.
Dude, where they have the Olympic archer who hits 9 out of 10 bullseyes with an Olympic archer, okay? He hit 9 out of 10. Drew Brees with a football hit the target 10 out of 10.
Yeah, look.
That's just bananas.
First of all, I have to say this if we're going to talk about Drew Brees. The man is 5'9". I have a picture with him in high school. He was still, he was either, I'd have to look up his age to be honest with you, but he was either at Purdue in maybe the 4th or 5th year, or maybe he just got drafted.
He went to school. He was in school with my brother. My brother was in Purdue, so he's probably 43.
So this would have been the beginning of 03. So whatever he was doing in the beginning of 03, me and Nick were like, whatever, for a high school team, one of my high school buddies, actually my best friend, but at the time we were high school buddies, we got selected. He's our starting D tackle, stud. And we got to go to this speech he did at Notre Dame. Drew Brees didn't. Again, he was maybe he had 1 year already in the NFL. And we got pictures with him afterwards because like the various athletes got to do these things with him. And I am not kidding you. When I am, I'm every bit of 6'1.5". I always claim 6'2". With shoes, I'm 6'2". Nick's 6'1". And we take this picture with our head coach at the time, who was 5'9", and he had hair on Drew Brees. And Drew Brees says he's like 5'11". I think he might be marked 6 foot.
I think
this dude's 5'9".
Yeah, he's marked 6 foot.
He's probably pushing 6'10" or 5'10" with shoes. Yeah. And his mind and his ability to throw a ball, those two things is what made him so successful. And it's impressive to think that he didn't use it with speed or accuracy. His footwork was great, but in a throwing motion, not in creating plays, which is what we see now. And it's, crazy thing here, just a standing duck back there. No one will ever get that. Quarterbacks are special. Shout out to all quarterbacks out there.
Especially being that short. I mean, could you imagine? So your average lineman is what, 6'5"? Like I'm saying, average. You get some that are 6'9".
Yeah.
I mean, you could imagine having just all of a sudden.
Yeah, but even at 6'5", 6'6",
you just have a bunch of trees stand up in front of you. I mean, and it was.
And you got to find these little pockets and walls and timing of your. I mean, it's you got to work at it a lot, and it's a lot of timing and a lot of trust. But the ultimate trust, I don't care what anyone says about throwing the ball and accuracy, it's with your linemen because. Man, if you don't have trust in them and you're looking over your shoulder, good luck.
And if they don't like you, oops.
Yeah.
We
call it the lookout block. Look out!
Yeah, that's just crazy. So we talking about sports. So I want to kind of have you. We don't got to go through all the cards here to be kind of weird on the radio. But I know you brought some of your cards. We'll take a look at them in a little bit. But
I can talk about them all day.
Yeah, exactly. So so what got you? Because it was weird. I mean, I'm not against that. So because I remember, this last year, I took some time off of work and I want to get back into some hobbies. And I saw that the card game had kind of gone crazy. COVID, everybody just went to their basements, gathered up all their cards and whatnot. And I did the same, to find out that all my 90s cards were garbage, the garbage years of cards. I'm like, oh, yeah, I got all these Griffey rookie cards and all this stuff. Look them up, they're worth $2. I'm like, all right.
Do you have the Tiffany? What's that? Oh, that was the $100 pack you had to buy at the time that no one bought.
Exactly. So, I have I'm all Don Russ and Tops. There's no Stadium Club. I didn't have any of those.
We have kids' cards. We have kids' cards, which were still worth nothing.
Yep. Yeah. So what got you back into the game, and kind of when did it happen, and kind of what led up to it?
So I could go crazy deep into this story. I don't know how.
Look, I ain't got nothing to do. I mean, the kids have school today. I got to pick them
up. Yeah. I guess I'll go into it. I want to help people out, and I've done it several times in my life. I've been blessed enough to where if you make me an important part of your life, I'll try to reciprocate that. And if you're in need, I'm going to try to help, right? I've also helped some family members, maybe that we don't have a crazy relationship, but they're blood. But, yeah, for the most part, on the friend side or, people that have influenced me, I'm going to try to help you out. And I had an opportunity to help a friend out, and really more like a little brother. I mean, it's unfair to call him a friend. He's definitely my little brother. And he got into it. And look, I am into it because my brothers and my dad. I mean, I guess I'd have to go way back and say as a kid, it was... we didn't go without by any means. My parents were loving and provided, but, I'm the youngest of 6. We couldn't go spend money just to go spend money either. Right. And so when Dad brought home cards, it was a big deal. Man, I'll never forget my brother opening up. Now, looking back, it's comical because it was the 10-year remembrance card or 10-year whatever card of Michael Jordan's rookie card. So this would have been the year 1996 when Fleer did the 10-year reprint. But I'll never forget that morning of Christmas, my brother Blair opening up that pack of cards that had that Michael Jordan rookie and us absolutely going nuts. It's one of my only, my memory's horrible at this time with all the concussions and other curricular activity choices. But, look, I'll never forget that. I remember the room we were in. I can literally remember my position of looking at him, because that's what the cards were at the time. It brought out a different feeling. I don't know. It was that hunt, and it's the ultimate gamble now for sure too. But at the time, it brought joy, not money, right? And I'll never forget that. So I think that's where it stemmed from. And then with my, being in sports my whole life and following sports immensely, I don't watch shows, really don't watch movies. I watch sports and I work and I try to go out and do things I enjoy. So I don't, my thing I fill my time with outside of what I want to do is sports. So I was an avid memorabilia collector. If you come to my basement, you would get to take part in like a museum tour. But opportunity presented itself where my little brother was breaking cards and trying to make money, and I saw someone that was helping him out, but also reaping the benefits. And I wanted to come in and say, I can be that person, but reap way less benefits and try to help you out.
Gotcha.
So it was really a luck thing, and a decision I made out of the kindness of my heart. There was no end goal in me trying to make money off of it. It was, how can I give him an opportunity to make money? Sorry if I stepped away there, but so it was great timing. That happens to be, I'm a diehard Vikings fan. A guy I'm named after, who my parents kind of helped take in when he was at Notre Dame. Played for the Vikings when I was young, and a brother liked him, so it was kind of natural that I watched the guy I'm named after, that calls my mom and dad, that sleeps at our house, play for the Purple. And so I was a Washington Redskins fan when he was there and won a Super Bowl when I was real young. Like, I remember the Redskins starter jacket. Like,
hell yeah.
I would love to find that thing now. But, and then when we went to the Vikings, it was Vikings there on out. So the deal I kind of worked out was, hey, I'll get Vikings on all our breaks. I'll get back into card collecting. That way you can make the money, but that way I don't have to pay for the cards I'm collecting. And worked out for a while, and it just so happened that year we drafted some dude named Justin Jefferson, and the collecting began. And I look back at it now and I kind of laugh. I really do laugh, because it's such a chance and luck thing. And I laugh because I've hated the last 2 years, because who am I going to collect? Christian Darrisaw as a tackle that has zero value, or defensive backs that got hurt from last year? If I would have came in any other time or year, I'd have probably nothing of value.
Just probably fizzled out.
Yeah, I'd have a cool collection to show you of a bunch of dudes from my team that have not much value. Yeah. So it's a luck thing. It's a chance thing. It's one of those things in life that it worked out my way, right? And there's stories I can tell you that they didn't work out, but this one, it's beyond worked out. It's a blessing. It's crazy to think that, a lot of things that started me in cost me nothing and helped a friend out. Now it's turned into more than that. Now I'm in a better financial situation, and I've learned the market. I've learned how it works. I've learned where to invest because of the long term, what holds the value better. And I've become more astute to it, and I'm smarter about it now. And now I'm constantly hounding where cards are being sold, because I want to go get that deal. I want to go continue to build my collection, but also do it in a practical manner where I'm getting deals and I'm really truly trying to invest. Like, my whole approach to this, like, if JJ signs extension with, which it would bring my Minnesota fandom into question if we don't extend this, man.
That's the best wide receiver I've ever seen play the game. I don't know. He's ridiculous.
Here's my best way to describe him. He's not great at one thing, but he is elite at everything, and you can't describe his motion. And this is where I get into discussion. People, like, when they hear it, they're like, yeah, that is what I see. You can't describe his motion. He does not run routes normally. He isn't a straight line guy. He's not, a speed burner guy. He uses shiftiness and motion and your leverage against you, and he understands separation. Mm-hmm. If that dude could throw the ball, he could be a quarterback because he understands how to get there. But he has spectacular talent on catching contested balls too. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. It's every category you could go through. And like, yeah, he's really good at that too. Yeah, he's really good at that. Yeah, he can create space. He can catch underneath. He can go deep and make a contested catch. Like, he does it all well. More so than his ability on the field, which I believe is elite. You can't argue that he's the greatest receiver we've seen through 3 years of their career. You go look at the stats, easy. No one's close. Like, if you would pull up Google right now and go look up receiving stats through the first 3 years, like, there's him and then there's everybody else. Mm-hmm. There's no one close in receiving yards. And that's undeniable. Is he the greatest ever? I don't know, but he's statistically the greatest ever through 3 years of their season. or through 3 seasons of their career.
Arguably the number one draft pick in any fantasy next year. I mean, arguably. I mean,
you got to, right?
I picked him 1 in line though.
You got to.
Yeah.
So it was a luck thing getting those cards, and he is an elite talent. But it's just fun to watch the guy. But the most thing I admire about him much is the way he does it. Because he has his own swagger, but it doesn't come across as cocky or brash. He's just being him. And man, if more people could be that way, it'd be a great place, man. Be a great world to live in if everyone's just JJ, just having fun being you. But yeah, he's fun to watch, and it worked out.
So what's the best card you pull? Like, I mean, outside of break, I know like watching breaks are a little different because you're not actually opening the packs or whatever. But I mean, is there one like did you open up a pack yourself and you just get what's the best card you got? Like,
so a personal pack that I've opened, I hit during the World Cup last year, I opened up, Soccer World Cup. And I hit...
You mess with the soccer cards, too?
I don't, but when the new product comes in, so, hey, you get something new. Well, no one else has opened it yet, so let's open it to show it to, the fandom out there to let them purchase it and see what they're getting. And this was a weird one because it was more of a late night decision where I'm like, we're not even on camera here. We're not even getting it. Let's check this out. And I happened to hit like a Cristiano Ronaldo with 25, like elite Prism card. And it's worth several $100s out of a $30 box.
Yeah.
My personal pull. Now I don't rip much because it's not the best investment.
Yeah.
And I'm a numbers guy. So if the numbers don't add up, I can't do it. Like it's the same thing when I play blackjack, right? I count cards. I bet on the numbers and the percentages. I get the outcomes can be different. Same thing with when we play card games at home, or we play quarters with our kids, and there's a different name. Well, I say here it's screw your neighbor, but we call it quarters to our kids, so we're not saying screw your neighbor. And it's the same thing. Like I don't care what has happened. I'm a percentage guy. If I have X card and the percentage is this, I'm going to play it that way. It's just how it's always happened. It's kind of every approach I take. And yeah. So when it comes to making those type decisions, that's how I'm going to roll every time. I'm going to look at the odds, and that's how I'm going to make the decision.
Yeah. And that's what I kind of figured out too. Is like the breaks. Like my buddy, to actually talk to your buddy, it was my dad's neighbor. Breaks. That's actually when I got we just randomly started talking about cards, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, I do some breaks," and then I was like, I actually ended up, I saw it on Facebook, like his. I think I asked you about it, or so I said, "What break do you do or whatever?" And you're like, "I was gonna want to watch some of these breaks," and then I was following that break. You said it was your buddy, and then I found it was him, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, I watched your fucking breaks.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know, I was like, holy shit. But so recently I started to. Because, I mean, I'm just a LeBron collector, Like, I do like to get, I love to open up packs. And I know every time I buy
Great rush.
Yeah,
it is fun.
And I understand there is nothing that's going to be in here that's going to probably cover the cost of what I bought.
Yeah, very rarely. It's the ultimate gamble.
Yep. But, man, when you do, just like, like when I got the hobby, I spent $150 in a hobby box. I don't often do that. I really don't. I don't spend that much on cards that often. And I pulled, like, one that was worth, like, $350.
Yep.
And it was just like... It was just a high. It was awesome, man. I was like, holy shit, he was badass. But, but now the card game is crazy. It's like everybody, I mean, it's less about, people kind of collecting and more about people trying to flip the product quicker.
Yeah, the trade game is the biggest game. But there's a ton of, some people are paying for it up front and some people are paying at the end. Mm-hmm. Whether you're paying to open the box or you're paying to buy it in the end, that trade game is really where it's at. Because if you can flip certain products, it might be tougher to move or not. They might be flashy but not hold much value. And you can get that guy to take these 3 cards that, the desire's not a ton and flip that up into a bigger thing that can sell. It's in high demand. It's huge. And that's why I was saying earlier, like I've become more educated on before early in collecting, retail was cool, right? And then it's like, oh, and I need hobby. Now I need signatures. Now you need on-card signatures. Well, now I only need this type of product. Well, now I'm only chasing Flawless and National Treasure. Now I'm only chasing true RPAs. Because if you have a collection of 1,200 JJ rookie cards and you have 400 RPAs, I don't want another RPA. I want the best card out there now because that's going to elevate my collection. Mm-hmm. But what you end up learning through that process is, that's really where the value and money is and where the true stock market is in cards, because that's what sets the market for all the rest. And once you then learn when that's set in the market, well, where's the demand? The demand isn't for the, Select or Prism base, even though people are like, oh, Select and Prism and Optic. Well, look, if you have a certain card out of those, clearly they're super desirable. I mean, crazy. Like one of the cards I have today, it's a Black Pandora on-card auto JJ. I mean, it's several $1,000s, ungraded. Mine's probably for sure a 9, maybe a 10. It's in one of my next orders. But the cost of grading them is in a whole nother world. Like I'm gonna have to pay $500 to get that card graded. At least $300.
What?
Yeah, I mean, because the value of the card, they base the value of your card.
No, who do you send them? You go through PSA? Or?
I go PSA for 2 reasons. Right now, it's the most value.
Yep.
Turns around, keeps me most value. Well, yeah, it's probably the only reason. I was going to say I also like the slabs, but they're not anything special. I think I like the slabs because you initially think, hey, that has the most value on the market. And here's the ironic thing. Not to get into any rabbit holes here, but they're probably the worst company out there too.
Dude, I'm telling you, I buy the 9s from a different carrier, send them in, get a 10.
You can get 10 sometimes, yeah. I mean, they're probably the worst, but it's just what the market dictates. I personally don't like PSA. I think they've been great to deal with. I've sent away several orders. I have an order there now. I mean, I got
one there too.
I have a crazy order there right now. I mean, I have my true NT RPA. Like that will be back in probably a week or two. And I'm like, but the weird part is the power they have is if they grade that thing an 8, they do 8.5, which no one ever sees from PSA. But like if that thing grades an 8, it's 3,000. If that thing grades a 9, it's 5,000. If I get a 10, I can probably name my market. It might be Pop One. It might be, his most desired card, a true National Treasures RPA. And
no, so is that numbered?
Yeah, out of 99, it's his true RPA.
So when you keep saying so true RPA, so does that mean that's his legit first card he actually signed?
No. So why our stuff from back in the day has nothing is because they were just one card was made as mass produced, right? So the new stuff, they all have different variations and they all have different print runs. So like I have several other National Treasure RPAs in my box here. They're $600 to $1,000 cards because they're not his true RPA. So they're a different variation of cards, right? So they run 10 different, not 10, I think it's like 5. I think they do the Prodigy, the Vertical, the Horizontal, the True, Field Pass. So there's 5 variations, I believe. And
so his autograph is on 5 of different of his
cards,
all National Treasure of that rookie year.
Correct.
But he just signed 5 different. So when you said true,
but some are numbered 1 of 1, some are numbered to 25, some are numbered to 99. I don't want to say the Holy Grail, but the true RPA, so which is a rookie patch auto. So you get it's a rookie card, has a patch on there, which newsflash for everybody, hate to disappoint you, but when it's a rookie patch, it's just some BS thing they cut up. Like it's not game worn patch. And it has their autograph on it. So that's a rookie patch auto RPA. But if you really want one rookie patch auto out of any product, any box you go to, it's a National Treasure True RPA. And it's of 99. There's 99 of them made. And there's also 25. There's a run of 25 of those made there, but they cost less. There's 25 of them, but they cost less than the ones that are a run of 99 because it's looked at as that's the best card you can get. Now there's 1-of-1s, there's crazy cards out there you can get too. But like if you want one, if you're like, hey, I collect Cade Cunningham just because you brought him up. My first question to you is like, hey, you got a true RPA yet? You got a true National Treasure RPA yet? That's probably my first question to you. Or what's your best card? Because that's the whole it typically holds the most value for a card that's made of there's no other card that there's 99 of them that holds that type of value.
Just sending myself a little note, National Treasure.
Yeah, that's what you want to get.
So that's the only one. I mean, so like is that still National Treasure? Is still just it's a card. Is it still Panini right now?
It is.
Okay, so when it's I mean, or now is that? Do you know if that's is Fanatics like when they take over?
They take it over. Okay. I hope they do some fun stuff. I hope they're way more reliable and honest with the front end consumer. But again, I go back to the numbers. I'm a numbers guy. There's value there now. I see it as a great investment. This one's paid off wildly, so it's hard to walk away from. But I'll go back to my original statement from the first question is like literally if Justin Jefferson does not sign an extension, I'm selling my entire collection.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm selling it all. I'm going to go walk away. I'm going to buy a second house and we're going to have a vacation home and I'll do other things with it, but because the investment doesn't make sense to me then. Because is his value going to dip? What's his next quarterback going to be? And it worries me. But, hey, if we get a quarterback or figure out our quarterback thing and we extend him, maybe I continue to hold. Because maybe that collection goes 2 or 3-fold. Now, he's a wide receiver, not a quarterback. So his value is never going to be the highest. But if you want one guy that's not a quarterback right now, it's him. I mean, if there's one guy in the NFL that isn't one of the top 5 or 7 quarterbacks, there's no other person you want than JJ. So I lucked out. But man, it's been he is must-watch TV if you appreciate the skill of a wide receiver. Because it's not done with speed. It's done with every skill he can expose, and he does it with every. I mean, I am biased, clearly. I have money wrapped up in the man, and he's on my favorite team. But, yeah, I haven't seen a guy like him ever. Because Randy Moss was very different, too. He was elite in different ways.
He reminds me almost like of a. It's almost like if you were to build a receiver, you take like Calvin Johnson's separation. I feel like Calvin Johnson was somebody that would easily separate himself, and nobody knew how.
How did he have room?
And then obviously go up and get it.
Yeah,
happening.
And if it was underthrown, he could outjump anybody.
Yeah,
dangerous.
And that's what when I watch him, because again, I'm obviously I'm a diehard Bears fan. But man, I'm telling you, every single time. In a fantasy, I draft Justin Jefferson almost number one every single time. I think I only drafted one league. I picked up McCaffrey overall because it was a different stat wise, but now he is just something to watch. So you mentioned so obviously he's no longer a rookie. So outside of breaks, so how do you where are you finding your cards? Like, do you do eBay or do you go? How are you chasing your cards?
Yeah, so everywhere. I want a deal. So, yeah, eBay is great at times. So I'll tell you a funny story from a week ago, or not a week ago, about a month ago now. I called about 3 people when I hit this deal because it's probably the funniest deal I've hit so far. So, dude, again, I'm always on eBay simply to, one, count my own cards. What's stuff going for? Mm-hmm. I want to know what's there. And
you log your collection and then it...
Yeah.
Yep. That's right. Yep.
So when I see cards I have are very similar, I want to keep up the tabs. What are they going for? What's the market? And we were looking, so on eBay, I'm going to look for deals, right? Like where is someone not bidding, or maybe it's someone not realize what they have, and this is that story. So, dude has a yellow, I think he marked it yellow prism mosaic JJ, and that's the description. I look at it and I know that is a gold mosaic JJ. Sure enough, the second picture the dude uploads, what does it say in the top left corner? 10 of 10 bookend. There is 10 of these cards. There is 10 made. I mean, I have it in the box. And he has it listed for, I believe at the time, $30 for the opening bid. And when I stumbled across it, it was like 5 hours left. No one had bidded on it because it says yellow prism mosaic or something. It's out of mosaic. I think he listed as yellow prism. I can pull it up on my phone and tell you the exact description. But so I'm like, well, I'm just gonna comically shoot this guy an offer, because the one good thing about doing the eBay world, and then we'll go to the next, is people ask stupid prices, but people negotiate stupid prices. Yes. And I've gotten my best deals by far, other than one bulk deal I did with someone that knew I collected JJ. They had hit some crazy couple lucky cards. Like one of my highest end cards, I would say in my top 10, is a Black Pandora JJ. So on card autograph, rated rookie, only 25 made. Black Pandora, super, super hard to hit. Mm-hmm. Super, super desirable because it's that rated rookie. Mm-hmm. And it's the most, probably the most elite card to hit out of Optic.
I got you.
So I got that on card auto JJ. I bought that from a personal friend in our break room. And he luckily hit it and had a couple others. And like at the time, it was probably $1,000 card. And he probably then had a couple other $200 or $300 cards. And, again, it goes back to the trade game. He could probably trade it and got other cards that were great value, but he wanted cash.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go to the cash, it's a different market. It changes the game. And that was probably my best deals when I said, hey, give me all 4 of the cards you got, and this is what I would offer cash. And by far, I look back to that day and I feel bad almost to think like what it's turned into. Like, oh man, like those 4 cards are worth, probably $7 to $10 grand now, and I paid well under $1 grand. Yeah, so that was my best deal. But my other deals have come eBay. So this cat lists this card. I throw an offer out. All right, bro, I'll give you $15 with shipping. It'll be $20. He accepts it, and those one has been sold. It was buying out for $900, and the guy took, I think it was $750 or $650 for it. So let's call it a $600, $700 card, and I paid $20. Those are fun. So eBay's great for that. But there's also things that are obvious that people bid up, and there's show bidding. So you gotta be careful. You got to be disciplined, like in anything, right? The best deals are personal sales. Yeah. Because again, the trade game is king. Most people want to trade. They want to keep trading up. They want to keep building value in their collection, make trades that make sense. So if you can come to the right person that needs cash, kind of like that first deal I described, I've bought $1,000 cards for $150 before. I just bought a dual Randy Moss JJ Auto on cards for easily all day long. It's a $400 to $500 card. I think some people are trying to sell the light card for $700. I think the only card that's sold, the one I got, was I think sold for $650 about 2 months ago. But yeah, I think it was $650 anyway. And I got it for $210. But that's why I bought it. Now, did I want a Randy Moss, my original GOAT, and now JJ, my financially and visually influenced GOAT, new GOAT? Yeah, when they're both on the same card, I wanted it. But man, when you go on and find people that they're on a Facebook page or they're on a card show and they want to make a deal, and that card doesn't mean anything to them, and cash in hand means more, or and I hate to say it, but you find people in tougher situations sometimes and they need it. I am ruthless enough because I love my JJ card collection enough that I'm going to exploit them and I'm going to take it and run. And so I would tell you the best deals have come from every avenue. I think if you're truly into collecting, truly just to collect, go get what you want, right? I mean, you should be responsible, but just go have fun. I mean, it's a hobby. But if you're doing it for a financial reason, which again, the numbers cloud my brain, right? So like for me, it's got to make sense. And so I'm exploring every single avenue all day. For instance, the other night, there are nights, I'll admit to this, that I do watch Whatnot late at night, and again, I watch sports. So when sports end, I'm not quite tired, I'll watch Whatnot where they're auctioning off cards. And we haven't talked shoes yet. I mean, I think Sweet Tea beats me, but I have crazy amount of shoes too, and they sell them on those and that stuff, which I love. But I watch a lot of the cards being broke, and I'll never buy anything off there in breaks because it's such a gamble, and I would rather make a more wise investment where I can go count cards and put money on the table and go take a couple grand from the casino and put advantage. Now, you're going to lose sometimes too. Yeah. And my wife told me last night, I came off a run last night. My wife told me last night, it's okay you lost though, because like the last 3 trips, honey, like you did well. And yeah, so it's a different gamble. I'd rather go gamble on something where I have more control. Mm-hmm. These, my last count, I'm thinking about like 11. I'm in the 1150s now. My last count was in 1140s. My buying has slowed way down now because his value is outrageous. So I only buy deals.
Wait, 1140, what do you mean?
Cards, rookie cards of Justin Jefferson.
You have 1,140.
I'm in the 1,100. I'm over 1,150 now, and I'm over 400
and you're not talking
RPAs.
About base cards.
No.
Yeah, you're talking like these are all okay.
Yeah, I mean, are some of them base? Sure, I'd say maybe 200 to 300. But I have, I have 700, 800. I mean, I have over 400 RPAs and I have over 600 autos.
Do you probably think you have the biggest Justin Jefferson collection?
I believe so. I haven't seen anyone bigger yet.
Nice.
And I guess that was the moral of the story before of where I'm buying. It all comes down to an investment in the end for me. It is fun to do. I love the fact that I can do something I'm passionate about, that I spend time on watching sports, someone I love. I love the game. I played it. I understand the position. I see what he's doing, which I feel even more confident about in my investment. But at the end of the day, it is strictly an investment. I hope that he stays a career Viking forever and he becomes the greatest ever, and I can pass these kids down to my cards and make them millionaires is my goal. But I also am very comfortable saying that I might have to sell these things in 2 months. And I brought you one case today of 2.5 cases, and also some of my most elite cards. I just spent you ready for this? Oh, man, I hope my wife doesn't listen to this. I just spent $7,000 on grading cards. So I sent 35 cards off. Every single card's over $1,000, and several of them could be questionable at $5 to $10 grand range, right? So when you're spending on several of your cards $500, that stung. The reason I did is because it was bonus season, as you know. The T-Mobile bonus season's February. The old Sprint was May. So I collected, and I'm getting ready to get. And then I was, hey, I have a collection that I feel almost a responsibility to those cards, the high-end ones, you got to get them authenticated in a slab. I am a diehard Vikings fan.
I didn't know it.
Yeah, you didn't. Yeah. As I'm fucking sitting across this damn Chicago Bear. I'm sorry for my family members I cussed, but I'm going to be me on this. I'm sitting across from this ugly Chicago Bears blanket, and it's putting me in a depression state.
Grandma bought me that before she passed.
Yeah, I don't care about your grandma either.
I hate the Bears that much. Damn your grandma.
Can you tell me and Kyle know each other too well and we're too comfortable? Yeah, I don't care about your grandmother, but I do care about Vikings Bears.
She probably was a Bears fan, so I just like her even more now.
Yeah. So I'm staring at this thing, but look, I'm a Vikings fan. But for the player in me and for the players out there, it's still a game, and we're playing to win.
Yeah.
And man, for you to and we play to try to be the best, whether it's team accolades or individual accolades. You're talking to a liar if they don't want to talk about either one.
Yeah.
Because they both matter. What I contributed to my team matters, and what my team did matters.
Yeah.
My team sucked. I contributed immensely. That's the boat I was in. So I'll never get great, stardom or whatever. There's a few games like we broke NCAA records. We were in Sports Illustrated. We were on ESPN Bottom Line. That was cool. But that's because a few games happened that were elite. But my team sucked at the end of the day, and we weren't going to accomplish anything. And that took a lot of air out of the room. But at the end of the day, people are playing for their individual accomplishments and team accomplishments both equally.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could, was it cool that I was in Sports Illustrated? Yeah. I am very proud of my father for this day that he saved that article for me.
I was about to say, without a doubt.
I own, and you know what? It's weird. We were talking about this earlier. Katrina. I have, oh my gosh, I should go. Was it Aaron Brooks? What was the quarterback of the Saints?
Yeah, okay. Aaron Brooks.
And then Deuce McAllister.
Deuce McAllister.
I knew it was
and
Deuce.
And they had the stalwart.
Well, I'm talking about the Sports Illustrated article that I was in. And they're hugging on because it's right after Katrina. So weird, right? It comes full circle. Yep. Yeah, and I am so happy my father, every week of my high school and college career, he cut those articles from papers and online articles, and
that's
man,
cool.
He saved that Sports Illustrated we were in, and I was named Sports Illustrated Athlete of the Week or whatever it was. There's 5 of us they would name, and I was one of those guys. It was cool.
Was that your pop one?
That's my pop one. Shout out Earlham for having a crappy defense.
Sign it and then send it in.
Thank you for being crappy and
sign that.
Fucking we broke every NCAA record there was that game. I'm not kidding you when I say that. Yards combined, yards per team, touchdowns per team, and regulation. Everything we lost. I think if I had to think back, it was 70-69. I think we lost.
Damn.
I think I had.
You had tape of it? Is that ever around?
I don't have tape. I mean, you can Google articles. I think there was 1,600 yards combined per offense, and clearly we each had 10 touchdowns, and
that's nuts.
It was a fun game. I was blacked out from the second quarter on from a hit. Couldn't tell you one thing about it. I could tell you the athletic trainer that escorted
Friday Night Lights.
the athletic. This is true story. True story. My wife can vouch. Athletic trainer that escorted me to the shower room and helped me shower. The doctor that made me ride home in his truck and not the team bus because I was so concussed.
Oh, holy shit, man. Oh, we're going to talk about your canoeing and hiking, man. No, canoeing and kayaking. There you go.
Mainly kayaking, but the canoeing is, the next evolution. So, I was a super busy person and living in the corporate world.
By the way, I didn't mean to interrupt, but that sound, everybody says, Kyle, I hear you boozing every episode. I try to sneak it, but it goes, so you hear it.
The Yetis are great, but they're also not undercover.
They ding the ice around. Sorry, go ahead.
So I was super busy, and I went into a business adventure with a buddy that has panned out, and it brought our relationship together. And he grew up on the water, and it was kind of his solitude, and I was caught up chasing money and accolades, and was introduced to it several years back. We kind of started up in the UP with hiking and more snowmobiling, really the solitude of it, and man, I just found this ultimate peace. Like,
you're saying canoeing or?
This is before even canoeing and kayaking. Oh, I got you. This is just getting out into wilderness.
No, I got you.
And so then by the time, in the beginning, like, I've never done it. Like, I canoed a little bit as a kid when I was sitting in a canoe, but I didn't have to be in control.
Yeah.
And, some of the rivers I see, like, you're like, man, I don't, those are scary, right? Undertows and currents and So
especially St. Joe.
Yeah, exactly.
Catch you and take you under in the sewers.
We didn't grow up around nice, awesome rivers I know now.
No, that's sucking the pollution out and your body.
Yeah, both. So eventually that involved, all right, let's canoe, and so he took me out in canoes and then kayaking, and I bought my own kayaking, and we're getting a ton of miles in, and it's a workout, and it's great for your mind and peace and camaraderie with the people you're doing it in, and trust. And then it involved, hey, we, shout out to him. He's the one that pushed it, but hey, we're both previous athletes. We're competitive. Like we both are pretty good at this. Like, let's push ourselves. Like, let's become better at it, maybe compete. And so now we're training to compete. And our first race coming up is the All Sable up in Michigan. It's a 120-mile race nonstop. It's the longest race in North America. It's the second longest race in the world that's nonstop.
So hold on. So you practice that many miles?
We have done. You're gonna laugh, probably. We've done 40 nonstop. We did it in
that's still huge.
A little over 6 hours. Yeah, I mean, so we're hoping, hey, can we go do that on a bigger river that has a faster current? And we're gonna try to get like 15 hours in 120. But it's going to be 15 straight hours of paying attention to the river and trying to use it to your advantage and paddle when you have to. And yeah, I mean, it's very fun. But again, I'm gracious for what it does for my body. I'm way more gracious and appreciative and realizing what it does for my mind, though.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's peace that you can't find in most places. And I'd even challenge people on where you're doing it at. Like, if you're going through downtown Fort Wayne on the river, it's pretty cool, but you're around people and you're in it. But man, you go up to crazy spots and you're hitting river, you don't see people, and it's just you and nature. It's pretty epic. And then, like, the animals we've seen, a wild wolf and, countless bald eagles, and the things that's exposed me to and makes me appreciate life differently, I'm forever grateful for sure.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why I talk about biking. That's what I feel about biking, dude. It's like the same thing. But no, so I wanted to get into kayak. Let me tell you this little funny Kyle story. Because, of course, everything involving in the new, Kyle has to some way fuck it all up. So let's talk about kayak season coming up. I'm like, hey, let's get a fucking kayak. I got a couple buddies together. It's like, well, let's get a test kayak. So I bought an inflatable kayak. Okay, so Google, like, the Amazon reviews were decent. People are like, yeah, you got to inflate it, deflate it, whatever. What I didn't factor in is my pure laziness of filling this whole thing up. Took, like, you need to have a generator or like an air compressor, because you're not, they don't tell you. It's like, hey, 20 minutes, you'll have it blown up. So I was thinking, all right, we'll have a bike pump, a big, so, you know,
Yeah.
no, 2.5 hours, me and Pat were rotating.
Ooh.
One day we were just getting tired, other arm. Like, we were pumping this thing for so long. So long. And all the reviews were good. Oh, it's stable. Man, got in this thing one time, and it felt like you were just always tipping over. Like, you know, like you couldn't. It was like a very uncushionable seat. Just you're always like moving.
Yeah.
It was terrible. So I put it on shore. It's like, all right, man, we'll try again tomorrow. Nah, I just left it there.
Ooh.
We were leaving. I was like,
Yeah, that will sour your taste.
I'm not ever using that again.
Yeah, notice I said how it was enjoyable and like the solitude was great and peaceful. Like, yeah, that's not what it's supposed to be.
No, those are the words. That's right. Don't understand what I want people to get out of this is don't buy an inflatable kayak ever.
Yeah.
Sorry, unless they're going to sponsor me.
Or have an automatic like blow up.
Yeah,
system.
I think you could plug it into any vehicle anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a blow up bed, right? You don't want the one you're going to have to blow up. You want
Hey.
the one that just plugs in, blows up itself, and you say, hey, buddy, sleep.
And I was also in charge of plates and forks, so I had to kind of stay focused.
Yeah.
You know, being the single guy, I always every dip. I'm like, you guys need forks?
Yeah, if you're asking me to
bring in
do
a dish.
three
I'm like,
things,
yes.
I'm only going to do a couple of them right, and the other are just going to simply get done.
Mm-hmm.
So don't.
That's when I give a head nod and not a verbal answer. I mean, I'm
Don't
not
grade
gonna
on quality.
Yeah, I'm not doing that last thing.
Yeah.
You know. What are we looking for? I got plates.
Yeah. Plates and forks. We're eating.
I mean, that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah. Might not sleep well, but we're eating.
Man, you know what I like that I eat too much? I like the little mini hot dogs in the holidays, like in the summer months. I don't know why I just thought about that. But you know, like the crock pot
Like
full
corn
of
dog
mini
wise?
dogs.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, no, not like a corn dog, but like just the dog.
Yeah.
No corn.
Mini weenies is what we call them.
Yeah.
Like in a barbecue sauce or something.
Yeah, and they just sit there.
Crock pot them. Yeah, yeah.
You know, I just fucking.
They're
fork
always
blast
so
those
tender
things.
though and good.
Yes.
And it's protein. You're telling yourself you're doing something good.
Yeah, I mean, as I'm boozing beers for most of the day, but that's. Yeah. So what's next? You guys got any holiday plans? Any summer plans?
Well, I mean, so the canoe race is end of July. We're trying to do a little vacation for me and the wife. Keep encouraging her, like, hey, when can we pawn off the kids for a week? So
still just so loud. I'm sorry.
Me and her can get away. Yeah, it's just ice. It's water. You're drinking water with ice and other
antihistamines. Yeah. So you're trying to convince her to go on a vacation when she doesn't want to?
Oh no, she wants to.
Oh.
But we have two elderly dogs, and you know she's naturally a homebody. She wants to go, but it's just not easy. So I think she'd rather be a homebody for the next couple of years. Then once the dogs are gone, the kids are a couple of years older. Then it gets way easier.
Yeah.
So I think she'd rather just like, hey, let's just let's go
Party
to
in the
Tennessee
backyard?
for a weekend or you know, something like that.
Thought you have like one of those like carnivals in the yard.
No, our carnival's in the basement. That's our basement's the.
I don't talk about the weird sex room, man. This is not the
stuff.
type of
No,
podcast. Babe, we're going to
I'm not that
carnival.
lucky. She's awesome in every way, but
Well, I mean, if you had a
No.
carnival sex room, I
it's
think
the,
it'd be.
it's the playground. The basement's the playground.
Is
And
that
that's
still
where we
the
go.
sex? Are we still talking about the sex room? Because you're calling it
No.
different things now.
You know,
It's getting awkward.
I wish.
I don't know. It'd be kind of weird if you just. What if you find out your
Yeah,
buddy,
maybe
like,
it wouldn't be fun.
What if
after
you walk
that.
downstairs and you find out like your buddy had a weird sex, but like you knew them, married couple, nice as hell, but you look and there's like weird shit in there, like just straps, swings. Just some dude
Initially,
in a
you're
gimp
probably
suit.
like high five, but then after that, you're like, there's
no,
a lot
like a
of
dude in the
questions
corner in a
then.
gimp suit waiting, like you don't know what they're into.
Oh, like
I'm saying weird
yeah.
stuff. Maybe a donkey. I don't know what they're into. I'm just saying, like, what if you just? I'm saying, like, what you know, like, go to the extremes. If you open that door and you're like, oh my god, Brian.
What's the dog for? I don't know what I do. I didn't imagine that until now.
That's where my brain goes.
Yeah.
I blame that bourbon. That shit was fucking amazing, though. Dude.
You get it now. You get it why it has the market it has and the price it has and
Yeah.
the exclusivity it has.
They should do a deal with those mini hot dogs because that's what it made me want it. I mean, like maybe pair up Van Winkle dogs.
There you go.
Little mini Winkles.
Mini Winkle
this is
dogs.
where I need to get out more.
Do a bourbon glazed mini dog.
That sounds like one of those, you know, those like bar tap places. You know what I'm talking about? The distilleries. What's it called? Help me out here.
Microbrews.
No, not the microbrews. Not the distill. Yeah, is it microbrews?
That's what I would call it.
Craft brew house where they make
Craft
the brews
brew house,
right there.
where you have brew house and a restaurant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I
craft
get
brew.
sometimes their menus are just confusing as hell. Like I promise, I ordered steak on a salad.
Yeah, but most of them do the like extravagant or random stuff. It's like that very like not necessarily like what they call farm to table or local, but that
Yeah.
type of menu. You know, it is very common in that world.
Food.
Yeah.
I just always get confused
But
with what
it's
they're
unique.
saying. It's like
Yeah,
double
it's
penne, finger blasted steak, triple lettuce wraps. You're like, wait, what am I?
My experience is when we go to those places, I have to ask my wife first, hey, what does this mean? And then if she doesn't know, then I Google.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, so what is this on this menu? Oh, I don't like that stuff. Okay, next. But yeah, that's my order.
You're like, babe, what's that mean? Oh, okay.
You don't even know? Oh, that's probably not a good sign. I'll still Google it.
This thing was called steak finger some type of salad. Steak finger some type of salad. And I didn't look that much. We were actually biking. I didn't look that much into it. I was like, all right, cool, steak finger salad.
With steak,
I like steak. I like fucking salad. As long as you don't bring me somebody's fucking loose fingers.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Sounds good.
You know.
Not real fingers.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, then I'm not happy. I'd like to talk to... Actually, I don't want to talk to the chef. I'm getting out of here. No, so when it comes... I get a plate full of potato wedges and a piece of like a lettuce, not like a decorative lettuce on top.
Ooh.
Tell me what...
They call it a salad. I'm asking questions.
There was no steak. There was no... Oh, those are fingerling steak potatoes. I'm like, those are what? And what is a steak potato?
Fingerling potatoes is what they were, to help you out. I'll get you there.
Okay, so we found the fingers.
So I am a little bit more advanced than in the culinary world. And yeah, so fingerling potatoes. Yeah. So
with the steak, with the steak in the name and we're in salad.
I don't know. Well, the salad misled you for sure.
Could have maybe been, they called it a salad, a little sprinkle.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you should have read the menu better. Maybe they screwed you over, but...
Oh, I got to tell you, I didn't read the menu at all. No. I probably didn't read the ingredients or what was in it. So I got to say, I probably didn't go that step.
If you learned something today...
Read.
I taught you one thing. When you order something off the menu, at least question the ingredients and what it says past the title.
No, not yes. Just keep reading.
You're welcome.
Steak fingerling salad sounded exactly like what I was wanting, and I was hoping like a side of like just some ranch to put on top of that steak. But then I got fingerling steak potatoes or steak fingerling, steak tato fingers.
Yeah,
whatever.
All three at the same time because it all is the same thing.
It was very frustrating, but. And then I think it was me and Wizzo. I think even what he ordered looked similar to like kind of what I ordered. So we thought maybe they swapped or whatever. That wasn't the case. His was total ass backwards too.
Yeah.
I think he wanted pasta.
That was misleading. Well, neither of you read details.
Yeah, I think he wanted pasta. And just brought him like just a bag of popcorn. He's like, oh.
That's what you get for going for those fancy restaurants that make unique things and just reading titles.
I don't know. Well, I never learned to read past the first sentence, but
yeah. South Bend, shout out.
Oh, yeah, well, good shit. So you got anything else, man? Anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to bring up? Because at the end, I like to do shout-outs. But if there's anything else you'd like to discuss,
oh man,
we got free time. I like to leave this up to the guests to decide what they'd like to speak about. Because I have to be in bed in 7 hours. So you got 7 hours.
Man, I don't want to get into anything controversial, so we'll leave some.
You
of
mean
the
the
crazy
whites?
Stuff? The what?
The whites. I'm just kidding.
Man, anything in the whole political world.
Oh no, I stay away because you know like I will. The only thing I say about it is I
polarizing either way.
I can't. I don't have enough time to spend to read. I need to research way more before I would decide what side I'd like to be on. But
yeah,
you know,
my total thought is that it's both sides are awful, and I'll leave it at that because I don't think they have our best interest in mind. But
got you.
Yeah.
What's the best sandwich?
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm hitting you with the real shit.
The best sandwich out there.
I'll think about that while I tinkle my glass around.
Man, that's tough. Because I love like a great, I'm a big beef guy, man. So a great Philly cheesesteak, like a really good one, tough to beat. Like, not to name drop anyone. Clearly, I'm not sponsored by anyone. I'm a guest. So, man,
you go say everything you need, then I'll call it. Maybe they'll sponsor me. So yeah call it out.
You go to Jersey Mike's and you get any of their either chicken or beef style Philly cheesesteaks, or if you get the one with the jalapenos, like that sandwich is really, really tough to beat. It really is.
Now, when you're there, so you're talking because we've had this debate before. First, if you have to eat it there, like because DoorDash is
gotta
everywhere.
Gotta be fresh, 100%.
Gotta be fresh. Yeah,
I don't do DoorDash. I don't do any of the delivery services for fresh food. Maybe I'll get some pizza delivered, but that's about it.
Yeah. See, I'm a DoorDash.
Yeah, I have a family. You're single. It's we're in different realms, man.
Yeah, because Kyle, you don't live the same life.
I got to worry about a family to cook dinner for.
I'm not spending $200 a night.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But
you're smarter than I. I followed my heart rather than my head.
Because your head got lost in that one game, I think, is why.
No, it's man. You find you find love. It tickles your heart, and you follow your heart. And the smart thing is, the world's a lot easier when you're single and you got to worry about yourself rather than worrying about a wife and kids. But
but there's different sides of that story.
Yeah, but I also get, my heart tingles a lot where,
my heart's
that's what
cold
you're
and
trying
black.
you're trying to find that,
It is cold and black in his left. It's
But you get the DoorDash and I don't. Because my DoorDash is way too expensive. So which one you signing up for?
Do you
Kyle?
want a cold black heart but affordable DoorDash?
Yeah. Are you the beast, or do you want the beast and DoorDash, or do you want to be the bell and have to cook food?
Yeah, I got a DoorDash it, I think. And I work the system. I look at offers, man. They do discounts. First of the month, I use my MasterCard. That saves me $5. I like to keep it a wash. I like to be able to keep it like the most I'm going to spend. Like if I'll pay $3 for it to get to me. That's usually about the tip.
Yeah.
But if some place will raise their prices, I don't fuck with them anymore.
Yeah, then it's not worth it.
No.
I'm glad we're close enough to have that conversation as a joke and not offend each other.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hope so. That's how people do it.
Yeah.
Well, shit. Well, we're at 3 hours, 30 minutes.
Dude,
that's not too bad, huh?
That was fun. I honestly, I'm shocked it went
I didn't
quick.
think it went that long. I was thinking I was going to be like, well, we're at about 2 hours. We're at 3 hours 30. That's with several breaks and my porn break.
I stayed on the couch for the whole thing. He went away. He was out of sight. He was very proper.
I'm going to crop this out. I'm going to find one point where he goes, yeah, I'm all about it. Just add it back in there. Your wife's like, what did you do? I said, don't embarrass us a lot.
Why do you play that clip and you just kept laughing in the background?
That's how it's going to start. Yeah. Then I'm just going to welcome to episode 2. I beat Kyle off. Wait, what was that?
Editing. Damn you.
Well, shit. Man, end of the episode, a couple things I'd like to do. First off, anybody you want to give shout outs to?
Oh, man. So I guess I have to shout out first my wife. So
good call. If you wouldn't, I would have went back and said, hey, you got to say your wife.
Yeah.
Sergio made that mistake.
Always gracious in my life. She always allows me to do what I want to do, and a super supportive partner. If I give anyone advice in my 15 years of marriage, just find a friend first that can support you and encourage you to be a better person first.
Mm-hmm.
But, so shout out to her. My kids are freaking awesome. They keep me young and fun, and so I don't want them listening to this conversation yet. But hey, soon they'll be ready for it.
You can bank it just fine.
Yeah, maybe there's an edited version I can play.
There won't be. No.
So a couple of years, but but from there, man, shout out you, dude. Let's talk about you for a second. First of all, the fun you brought me and joy you brought me in my job, man. Like, you talk about me walking in trying to make it fun. You are the epitome of fun. Like I knew today, like I think even I said it opening or by the opening, is like, I know today's gonna be fun. Like, sign me up for some more Kyle Quick. So
I appreciate that.
Shout out you, man, for doing this. And I have a friend that this is what his passion is, and eventually he wants to do like a sports podcast and kind of out with an outdoor influence and kind of document his life, and he wants to make that plunge. But shout out to you for making this plunge and going after what you want to go after, man. I appreciate shout out you, dude. I'm here because of you. So heck yeah.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. It only took me $34.
There you go.
And a whole lot of free time.
a lot of fun investment though, man. $34 for all the fun. Heck yeah.
For sure. Just learning how to do edits and everything else, and like just diving into the projects. It's been fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Keeps you busy in a positive way. It's always a good thing.
Oh yeah. Well, good shit, man. So we're gonna say bye to the folks at home, which means you, if you're listening right now. I'm talking to you personally. I'm in your ear. That got weird. Just slightly whisper. But no, so thanks everybody else for listening to episode 23, the LeBron and Michael Jordan edition of the KQ Show.